Shadowlands pre-expansion event is finally active, properly, fully active on live servers. And in this video I will tell you everything you need to know about it. Where to be, what to do, what's worth your while, what's not so much. Let's talk about these exciting times, my friends. Stick around. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Gyro, I'm your host here. As I said, pre-expansion event for Shadowlands is finally activated on the live servers, not on PTI anymore. We now can properly test, properly go with our actual characters and alts and do all sorts of stuff. It is much better. It is much better than I have experienced on PTR, and I have reported to you honestly in the previous videos, but today I am genuinely excited to share with you a whole list of things that are happening that you need to be aware of that are worth your while. I think they are worth your while, and I think I will just only say before I disappear, I will only say that because of Blizzard pushing Shadowlands release date back by 1 month, I think they left not much time for this pre-expansion event to unfold, at least not according to any timeline that any of us have foreseen. So instead of giving us the usual 4 weeks for maybe phase 1 of the event for 2 weeks and then phase 2 of the event for 2 weeks that we have anticipated, instead we got access straight away for these 2 weeks preceding Shadowlands launch of everything. Everything is active. The quests leading up to killing the world boss Nathanos Caller are active. Scourge event is active. Icecrown Rares are active. Farming for gear is active. So on one hand, the not so good thing is that we don't have that much time to gear up all of our alts and do all the stuff that usually excites us casuals. But on another hand, it's fantastic because the event feels not so stretched out. It feels much fuller, much more packed with action, much more packed with fun. So this is the TLDR, too long didn't read. This is in case you need to know it. Now I'm going to disappear and I'm going to talk you through everything that you need to know as promised about this event, where you need to be, what you need to do. So now that the event is active, once you log in into the game, you will receive a pop-up quest to travel to your home city, capital city Orgrimmar, in the case of this freshly leveled Horde alt. You will not see any rampaging Scourge, at least I haven't seen them in the cities as we saw on PTR. And on PTR, if you watched my previous videos, I was not particularly impressed and I was actually quite annoyed by the amount of annoyance and disruption that rampaging Scourge causes. And maybe, just maybe, the amount of the Scourge, the amount of infected players, the amount of people who try to have fun by infecting others, which again is part of the event, maybe that will grow the further this event unfolds with every day that we have before Shadowlands actually launches. But at the moment, if you are kind of jumping on the servers, following freshly this guide being released and me talking to you guys and me experiencing this, at the moment it's very bearable, and it is great to get, I think, all these initial quests out of the way, the ones that touch capital cities I mean, out of the way before then you go to the periphery, so to speak, to proceed with the rest of this event. Once you land in the capital city, you speak to one of the leaders and they will show you a cinematic, pretty good cinematic, which I really enjoyed. I avoided watching it before. I know that these cinematics were released actually a couple of weeks ago, I think, and could have been found through a variety of different sources. Funnily enough, I have actually not spoiled myself. I did not watch any of these videos preemptively. I did not. So I enjoyed it a lot in the game today, and I hope that you will enjoy it too. So these cinematics demonstrate to you exactly what happens to the leaders, to your faction leaders, to your prominent figures of Horde and the Alliance, kind of leading up to Shadowlands. What's up, really? Then you basically are given, so there's a quest chain, you are given some investigative quests. You need to fly around and collect reports from different scouts who tell you what's happening in their areas. This, for the Horde, specifically on this alt that I am currently very much involved in, because I love leveling fresh alts, this takes me all the way slowly through Barons. It takes me to the Northern Barons and to the Crossroads. In the Crossroads, and that would be Darkshire for the Alliance, equivalent would be Darkshire, there is an onslaught attack of the Scourge that now pops out of everywhere, now that we don't have a Lich King in charge of the Scourge, who suppressed them before. So you will be given this quest to kill a fairly modest amount of those Scourge undead and some cultists. There are always some cultists who want the end of the world, go figure why. People, when I was testing this on live servers, I saw that people tend to always simplify their life, and I can't blame them, but they try to make raids or groups to go through this content together quicker. I personally think that because you needed to kill like 4 or 6, I can't remember now, of those Scourge and cultists, honestly, it's not worth the trouble to try and get into some groups. Just do it solo. Just do it solo, you'll be fine. After that is done, and after you report back to your faction leader as to what's been happening, you will get the direction to go to Icecrown for Argent Crusade, to check in with them. It's the return of the Crusade. Very quickly you realize that Scourge is all over the place, undead are all over the place, and there is a bunch of dailies, there are a bunch of things that you could do for Argent Crusade. So you will go there to do those quests, the opening quests that introduce you to this little hub of questing for that will be probably spending quite a lot of time in over the next 2 weeks. And they will also tell you that some of these quests, they will turn into dailies, so you can continue doing them daily, which is great. Beyond doing the dailies, you can just go around Icecrown and kill the Scourge, kill the undead, to collect Scourgestones. Scourgestones come in 2 qualities, in the rare quality green ones and in the blue quality, or they for some reason are called black Scourgestones, I think, if I'm not mistaken, but they are actually blue, rare. You collect those from the undead in the area and you return them to Argent Crusade Quartermaster, who will give you Argent Commendations. Argent Commendations are, unsurprisingly, the currency that will allow us to buy catch-up gear. As we expected, as we speculated, on PTR I could not test this because the vendor was not active, so in my previous videos and in my gearing guide I was alluding to the fact that that's what likely will be happening and we'll be doing this. But back then I could not tell you exactly how will it work, how many commendations will be required per piece of gear, and that is, if you like, an addition to that guide, because now we know, now we have facts. Once again, the quests are not super generous and the drop rate of the Scourgestones is not crazy generous either, I would say. So that drop rate is hard to gauge, but it's not too bad. I would say it's pretty high. It's around, I'd say, 20 to 25% on green Scourgestones. What it means is that roughly every 4th killed mob, normal mob, or 5th for sure, would drop at least 1 green Scourgestone for you. And about those black Scourgestones, or the rare ones, I would say I've seen a drop of them, in case you're wondering. I've seen them drop from normal mobs. I did, but I'd say that probability of that, the drop rate, is maybe around 5% on normal undead mobs. But if you were lucky enough, and we'll talk about this more, if you're lucky enough to catch one of those rares that spawn all over Icecrown, and you do need to hunt for them, by the way, because that's where the biggest bang for your buck, biggest kind of benefit for spending time there comes from. From them, they have, by the looks of it, they have 100% drop rate of those blue rare Scourgestones in the volumes between 25 and 35, from what I've seen so far. So they definitely give you substantial amount of Scourgestones. Then what you do is you take those Scourgestones back to the Argent Crusade vendor, let's call him, Quartermaster, and you turn them into daily quest, blue question mark, obviously. They will take 25 of Scourgestones and they give you 3 commendations for that. That is what I mean by saying not super generous, especially because the 1 piece of gear, 1 piece of catch-up gear from the vendor to buy, costs 15 commendations. So you need to grind quite a bit to get 1 piece, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's something so stingy that I would say to you, absolutely not worth your while. I would say it's probably worth your while, especially if you chose to play the game during this period of time before Shadowlands to start with. Because a lot of my people say sensible stuff in the comments to me periodically, like, why bother? Like some of you say, why bother with any of this pre-patch gearing? Why bother? And the answer is very simple, my friends. Why bother playing at all? I mean, if you choose to play right now, this is what you should be doing. In my opinion, I try and help you with these guides. But at the same time, I hear you. I'm not judging here. In fact, I agree that if you feel like you've been burnt out, you've been playing a lot, and you have something to do right now in between of Shadowlands launching and today, so for the next couple of weeks, you might want to just lay low, watch some YouTube videos like mine and other people, maybe prepare theoretically, make plans for Shadowlands, start watching Shadowlands videos, I would say, but at the same time, you might want to just hold off, you might want to not participate in this event and not get stuff. So that's cool. Stand by, however, because I have one particular recommendation now that I had a closer look at the event on the live service. If your subscription is currently active, I think if nothing else, it's still worth at least doing one thing. And that one thing, my friends, is going to kill the world boss, Nathanos Blightcaller, for two reasons, and two reasons mainly. First reason is to get a piece of gear from him that you will not get in Shadowlands until, at that item level, until about level 54, 55. That's quite substantial. And it is a weapon as well. I do not know if it's fully random, because the description of the world quest to kill Nathanos Blightcaller says piece of equipment. It doesn't say a weapon. But so far, from what I've seen on Twitter, from what I've seen from other people and myself, I was lucky enough, or it's just ambiguously phrased deliberately. Maybe there is a small chance of it not being a weapon. Well, sucks to be you then. But it's been a weapon so far. And it's a weapon of item level 115, 115. That is pretty massive for alts, for fresh alts preparing for Shadowlands. It's pretty massive. So if you're thinking, why bother right now doing anything under item level 100? I first of all agree with you wholeheartedly. That's what my guide told you. Don't worry about anything below item level 100 to start with. And also there is now an active full-blown catch-up mechanic available to you. Grind for Scourgestones, hunt for rares in the Icecrown, get your fresh alts to item level 100, which will make your leveling in Shadowlands very, very smooth and nice. It will not be, you will not feel behind, you will not feel like you're dying to groups of mobs that decided to mob rush you. Professions in Shadowlands, they give you item level 100 loot very, very quickly. You can, if you pick up one of those professions, watch my video, you will be able to make yourself, craft yourself even a weapon of item level 100 in many cases. So item level 100 is very, very quickly achievable in Shadowlands. So you might say, Gyro, it's not worth my while right now hunting for rares and doing all this stuff to just get item level 100 gear. I agree with you, my friend. I actually agree with you. I think it only is worth your while if you enjoy the process. But your weapon of item level 115 is not going to become obsolete instantly. It simply will not, my friend. It will not. That's what I'd say, if nothing else, that is one thing that absolutely is worth your while. That is what I would say. Now rares, Icecrown Rares. If none of this has held you off hunting for item level 100 gear, if you are excited, if you'd like to satisfy that urge, maybe that loot hunting urge that we often get, that excitement, the giddiness that we get before the next expansion launches, that's cool. I very much get that. So rares are worth hunting, and rares spawn just as they did on PTR on a 20-minute timer. Those rares are, well, fun, a little bit of fun, I suppose, to hunt for and kill, especially if you made it there on time. It's better than PTR because now, as far as I have seen so far, the rare icon starts showing on the map for you about 3 minutes before the rare activates, before the rare is attackable. Those 3 minutes, especially if you are hunting for them and you do keep your eye on the map, and you should, in my opinion, this gives you time to travel to the location and be there to shoot the rare, or even just land one punch before it gets smashed by 50 other people who are there. So that's much, much better. It's probably worth saying that the lag at this stage is absolutely horrible, because a lot of people are hunting for those rares. It's fresh new thing to do in the game right now, understandably so. That's why the lag is tremendous. There are 50 plus people in one location trying to hit that poor mob. So please be prepared for that. Be there if you want some. Be there if you want some, yeah? But overall, I would still say it's so much better. The system is feels so much more balanced. It feels so much more kind of streamlined and better done than it was on PTR. Unsurprisingly, of course, and I suppose that that's just what we are signing up for when we see and try to review a half-baked product, which is PTR builds and which is beta to some extent. But live is much better, so I am honestly saying that it's great. Last thing I'm gonna say, why it's worth your while at least killing Nathanos Blightcaller, especially if you have not spoiled yourself by watching any of those pre-release, data mined or whatever cinematics. Because another cinematic that we're gonna see, other than the leaders being abducted, you know, when this whole event kicks off, the first one you see, you also get a cinematic when you defeat Nathanos Blightcaller. You see a cinematic of what happens. And especially if you were... I'm not a lore nerd, I'm so far from it, I'm not even close. But I was having feelings and thoughts when Teldrassil was burnt. I was having those kind of things. I was in the game, present in the game as a player at that time, so I had emotions, I had thoughts about this. And part of me, a large part of me as a geeky player, as a casual player, I wanted vengeance. I did, and I got it. And that was a fantastic, wonderful cinematic. I loved it. It was a wonderful cinematic. I loved it so much. So to you, as I treat you as my friends here in this club, little club that you helped me grow, but I created it. And we go strong into Shadowlands as a community, as this little growing community. So to my people, to my friends, I say, don't rob yourself of this experience of killing Nathanos and watching the cinematic. Do it. Do it. And this is where I'm gonna wrap up this mini guide, mini overview of everything that I believe you need to know about this pre-expansion event. I welcome your comments. How did you see it? Did you enjoy cinematics? Do you think it's worth your while grinding for item level 100 loot right now? Did you get a weapon from Nathanos and what was it? And that kind of stuff in the comments down below as always. If you are part of this community, thank you for being here. If you are discovering this video and just watched it once and listened to me here, welcome to you. Contribute to the growth of the channel. Don't rob yourself of the opportunity to connect with people like us, with casuals. We're casuals who love World of Warcraft and we play for fun. So hit that like button. YouTube algorithm loves this and I personally appreciate it. Talk to me in the comments below if you are informative, not trolly, etc. I always respond. I welcome everyone in this club. And I'll be speaking again with you very shortly. The videos on this channel are being released twice a week, at least. Okay, I'll leave you to it. Go kill some rares. Kill some for me. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.